Hey everybody, welcome to the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
John, welcome to the apartment.
Thank you.
On this
Thank you.
early Friday morning.
The sick ward. Listen to you.
Yeah. I should tell people I've been working at Spooky World. But the other side of it is that I've been working at Fenway.
How did they set it up? How did they set it up? Is it in the field or in the?
They built what they call haunts. They built these, and I'm a performer in one of the haunts. They have, how should I explain it? Under the outfield bleachers.
Yeah.
They've built these encased haunt areas. So they have the mansion, the cemetery, and this like crazy clown area. I don't quite know what to call it, but it is.
Clowns
freaky.
are scary.
It's yeah. I'm not that part of the thing doesn't freak me out, but some people are genuinely frightened by clowns.
There's a website called IHateClowns.com.
Yeah.
I have one of their T-shirts.
Right.
I have two of them actually.
So my voice has been. I'm told this is what happens to teachers and people who like talk a lot.
And the undead.
And and the dead. Well, that's basically what I'm doing. I was cast as a butler, and I'm working in the dining room, like when you get through the haunted mansion. It's a mansion called Brigham Manor, and it is freaky, man. I mean, I get scared walking through this place, because it's relatively all in the dark, and it is creepy as shit when you're walking through this stuff and these things, these wild dogs and just creepy, dead people laying in bed and oh god, it just the deformed stuff that is walking around in this mansion is crazy. So by the time you get to me, people are pretty, they've been pretty worked up into just general freak out. So, and I'm serving these dead people around the table, and when I come out and say that I'm the butler, man, people fucking jump. Like, I've had people like fall backwards onto the dining room table. It's awesome. I have one guy go right out of his shoes. He had to put his shoes back on. He was so scared after he left.
There's something about you, Steve.
It's all about it. They were right when I first started doing this. They were like, Steve, well, you just got to focus a little bit on just appearing at the right time behind the line and stuff like that, and then throw your voice. So we're serving worms and roaches and flies, dead flies, ma'am. And some people try to engage you, and you're not supposed to engage. But I think I'm kind of one of those entities in the house that's sort of like Casper. When somebody jumps and gets scared, I join them too. I'm like, what, where? Except I'm the thing that they're scared of.
Yeah.
And
cool.
It's fun, and boy, people sure do have a good time being scared.
Yeah.
It's really.
Did they have a big guest star this year? They usually like one year like Alice Cooper or Elvira or
I don't know.
Insane Clown Posse shows up.
There was a rumor that Lady Gaga was going to go through it. And then everybody was just like, this massive intake of breath, but it never actually happened. So there's a few days left, and we're scaring the hell out of people. I'm doing it for 4.5 hours every night. I've been doing it for 2 weeks, with a couple of days off, and yeah, man. But I think what's most telling about it is like when somebody gets scared, I have a lot of empathy. And I try not to. People can get really scared, but I try not to work it.
Right.
To really
not push them over the edge or freak them out completely.
Because there were some some young kids who go into the haunted house and they genuinely get scared.
Yeah.
And
what parent brings their young kid into something
John,
like this?
In fact, I'm thinking about this moment where these parents dropped these two young girls off, and so they went into the haunted house, and we have our instructions about like when to back off and how to help people who are really genuinely debilitated by being scared, like they're just afraid to go into the next room. So we know where the exits are and how to speak with people to let them know, hey, it's it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's just me. It's Steve. Hey, remember Post Movie Podcast? You know the voice, right?
It's all in good fun. Yeah, well, some kids really need it, and so I have a lot of empathy for that because it's just about fun. But then there's this other side. Like, well, I'll first say we did have to the other day help these two, I don't know, 10 or 11-year-old girls out whose parents had dropped them off.
Right.
And one of the other performers had seen one of these girls crying in one of the rooms in the corner, just scared stiff. And so we help the poor girls out of there. But on the other end are these guys who come in and they get all up in your face, because they come off Lansdowne Street and they've had a few beers and now they're going to go through.
You can't scare me.
Oh yeah. They're totally like they totally they want like engagement, but we're not allowed to.
Right.
Touch or anything. There's like a space.
You're like the palace guards. You can't smile.
Hey, we're just there to scare, And I can't understand these people who would go through a haunted house getting pissed off at you for scaring them, for scaring them. Like when you just freak them out, they get upset.
Yeah.
So you can see that in some people's eyes, and that's like, come on, man, it's just
why are you here?
Fun. Yeah, but so the 2 days I took off, I was very fortunate enough to be able to go to visit the set of this horror film that Guillermo del Toro is producing in Toronto called Mama, and wow, that looked really amazing.
Now he's producing that, and he's directing the other one?
He's producing Mama, and he's directing another film, which is a big adventure film, science fiction horror adventure film called Pacific Rim.
Uh-huh.
And I forget who stars in it. One of the stars is one of the guys from It's Always Sunny, Charlie Day.
Okay.
And I don't have the cast list in front of me, but I saw a couple of the sets, and it just looked amazing. This facility, Pinewood, Toronto, is modern and huge, and they are really serious about film there. And so it's just, I just love being on a movie set.
Yeah.
The smell of stuff happening.
The smell of actors.
The smell of actors.
Ooh,
the smell of sets being built.
I smell actor.
And it's the smell, the possibilities that are all happening in the state. So I'll be allowed to talk about that at another time, but it was really cool. Really cool.
Well,
Man.
you were missed in the press corps as we slogged through the week.
Sarah said to me the other night, we haven't actually seen a movie in 2 weeks. But I mean, I've seen stuff that you can talk about. I've seen Melancholia, and I did see what's playing over at the Coolidge right now, the Wall Street flick with Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah,
Margin Call, which I enjoyed.
Yeah,
but you were put through the
I had to sit
agony
through
or the ecstasy of Tower Heist.
Agony of Tower Heist, slightly less agony of Harold and Kumar's 3D Christmas adventure.
3D.
I give and I'm talking to the director this afternoon for the Harold and Kumar. Yeah,
really?
And all I've got to ask him about is the 3D, because they do embrace the 3D. Stuff gets thrown at you through the entire movie.
Yeah.
Everything from eggs to a claymation 3D penis. Which, I felt the age gap amongst reviewers, because the young kids,
Has Harold and Kumar come that far? It's been 10 years, has it?
Yeah.
Has it been?
What do you mean? Yeah. Well, it started in.
Was it ever in your were you ever the target audience for this?
I liked the first one. I thought the first one was funny. Second one didn't hook me, and this one just kind of bored me. It's not. I don't think it's good. But again, the 20-somethings like Greg were all. He was still pumped yesterday afternoon.
Fellow film critic Greg Valente. Who was
Yeah.
a guest on the show.
Yeah, he was still pumped about it yesterday when we started to watch J. Edgar. He's like, this isn't going to be as good as Harold and Kumar.
Oh, great.
So,
Great.
neither one was very good. I don't think, and I'm really annoyed by, I was talking to another critic, Tim Estelios. He hasn't been a guest, but you know him. Talking about in Tower House Tie, this is a return to the old Eddie Murphy. Like the 48 Hours Eddie Murphy. That was 30 years ago. If you're doing the same shit you were doing 30 years ago, it doesn't mean you're back to being edgy. It means you're tired and old.
Yeah, I just read Ty's review Tower Heist, and he mentioned that it's really not.
Wesley, was it Wesley?
I'm sorry, Wesley.
Yeah.
Wesley Morris's review, and Ty reviewed Revenge of the Electric Car. I forget, but
Yeah.
But Wesley had said the same thing. It's not the same. It's really more a sort of, he said, sort of a spin on Buddy Love from the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
He thought it was more Buddy Love-ish.
No, it's more Trading Places, Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
before he got cleaned up. He's like a street guy named Slide. Yeah. And, he's bad, and I'm really annoyed with Ben Stiller. Yeah. Who told him he was funny? Zoolander was like the last
John,
funny thing.
I got to disagree with you there. I think he's very funny. I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Tower Heist, but I dig Ben Stiller.
He plays the same annoying prick as he does in every film. And he just wears on me.
Maybe the big change was Zoolander. Maybe that was the one that was like...
That was at least something original. This is the kind of, the same... He's Glenn Fokker. He's the museum guard. It's the same annoying schmuck. And that's his character is kind of like this, schmuck who wins the day at the end.
He's the everyman who has been put upon.
Yeah, but does he have to be every man in every movie? So I was just annoyed, and the plot's totally.
He's the mode of identification for the audience.
Maybe 20 years ago.
The accessible character.
No, see, he's a closed door to me. That's in the story. That's his purpose, but he's supposed to be funny, and it's just not working. So I was pretty bored, and the whole heist thing is just ridiculous, and that's Brett Ratner thinking everything he touches is gold, and it's not. It's just not. His farts smell as bad as anyone else's. They do.
What about Alan Alda?
He was my favorite thing.
Téa Leoni.
Alan Alda was my favorite as the evil character. He was good, and Téa Leoni she almost does no wrong in my book.
Yeah, but Wesley said that she perhaps even almost stole the movie.
Yeah, but they have to make her fall in love with Ben Stiller, and it doesn't work. Yeah. So
let me ask you this question:
Yeah,
what's the deal with the doorman in the movie?
What do you mean?
I'm told, is sort of this real sympathetic, memorably sympathetic character, the doorman.
Really?
In the Tower Heist. Well, in the Tower Heist, these guys play a bunch of employees of this
Trump Tower.
Yeah,
Trump Tower.
Who are bilked out of all their money, their retirement money by Alan Alda.
Yeah,
sort of
Ben Stiller he's the general manager
thing.
of the hotel, and he invests everyone money with Alan Alda because he's got some kind of... They play chess over the computer with each other.
So they're going to steal it back.
Yeah, that's the plan. But here's the thing, all right, so not only does... Ben Stiller's character in this movie is like a step above slave in this hotel to the rich people. They treat him like dirt, but he's still yes, sir, everything's wonderful. The pension gets robbed. Well, maybe he's still innocent. Maybe he didn't do anything wrong. And then they drag out this doorman who is, about to retire on his savings and travel the world like any other old fart. And his money gets stolen too. And you know what? He jumps in front of a subway.
Oh, great.
And I'm like, please, that is the lamest thing. He survives so they can milk it for the rest of the movie, but they need that kind of an impetus, an attempted suicide by an old man to make Ben Stiller's character realize, maybe we should do something about this. It was just ridiculous. When was the last Brett Ratner movie that you liked?
I don't know. I didn't really like X-Men 3.
Yeah.
What was the last movie he did? He did some... Oh, God. What was it? Comet was Rush Hour 3 or something?
Yeah, he did all the Rush Hours. But here's what this is how I think of Brett Ratner's career now. I got a DVD a while ago that was a Brett Ratner box set.
They have that?
It wasn't a box set of his movies. It was a single disc of his like hip hop videos and his TV commercials, and on the cover was a picture of Mariah Carey.
Was this one of those things from Palm Pictures?
I don't know who sent it out, but it was like,
directorial.
It was the directorial series. Like, this has nothing to do with the director's movies, but here's what he did before he got a job. But it was just like this prepackaged, but Ratner was all over it too. Interviews with him and Like, whatever, dude. You're one of the lucky ones. You know, no one's
Well,
looked behind your
I want to
curtain
repeat
yet.
what Wesley says in his review, that he is often called a hack, but it's hard to say he's a hack in the sense that he actually learns from the greats, and the greats being like, Sidney Lumet. And,
I got to read that review. I don't know how.
Yeah, and Soderbergh.
I wouldn't call Soderbergh one of the greats, but Lumet I would.
Now, he's basically describes it as looking over their shoulders.
Really?
So he just, I guess Wesley believes that Brett is Mr. Ratner is unfairly called a hack.
Wow.
So he does have. There may be some talent there, John. I don't know.
There's definitely some. There may be some blackmail photos of producers.
I think his films, in a way, are I over edited. I thought X-Men 3 was just, boom, 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 next one. It was just like an intensity that was.
And there's never a thought for plot continuity, or that not continuity, but the logic of what these guys do.
I mean, it's like he's good for the job in the sense that he's got all, like I'm assuming in the case of Tower Heist, you've got all these giant egos working on a film, and Ratner's the kind of guy that a producer would bring in to bring it together, to make it work, just to get it done,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to be fucking Kubrick, It just,
Right,
we
right.
just got to get this movie done,
Well, it hit theaters, so I guess mission accomplished.
Yes, it hit. Well, it actually hit on demand before theaters.
Yeah, and Ratner's been out whoring it on demand too.
Well, apparently they've only done that in a couple of markets.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I should say that because I've been working in Spooky World, I've been throwing my voice, and apparently this happens to school teachers after a while. So my voice is. I'm really working it in there, trying to scare people.
Well, you're going to scare listeners. Don't worry.
So this is what's happening. But anyway, yeah. Apparently, they only tried it in a couple of markets and didn't work.
Yeah,
people
I don't
were
think it's
upset
going to.
about it.
Well, they were thinking of charging like $60.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more like 35, but
Still,
I'm looking there, it was 60 video on demand.
If I paid $6 in the matinee, I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
Chump.
it was an experiment, and I think the distributors, not the distributors, that's the distributor being Universal. I think the exhibitors were quite pissed at Universal.
Yeah.
So there was a chain or two that was not going to be.
I think when the box office tallies are done, this it doesn't have legs.
Yeah.
I just don't think.
Have you seen anything?
I think Carol and Kumar is going to rule the box office for a week or so. But no.
You know what we did see that I think we're probably going to disagree on is Lars von Trier's Melancholia.
We will disagree.
Because I thought this was just fucked up enough and melancholy enough and interesting to me enough to like. I actually fucking liked the movie, despite what everybody else says. I mean, it's like it's a big fucking blob of a movie.
It is. It's a pompous blob.
I actually liked it. That Kirsten Dunst. So she's getting married, and they're having this party in this like Swedish country house or something like that. And while they're having this party, she's of the knowledge that the Earth is going to die. Very shortly. I think in the sense of the film, it's like 4 days or something like that. So she's like, I just like the fact that on one end, she's being all happy party bride and everything, and then on the other end, she's like fucking the bellhop on the golf links.
Right. But she also has some mental issues on her own besides this giant planet about to destroy the Earth. It reminded me of Tree of Life.
Yeah.
But without the dinosaurs. Obviously there's a strong talent behind this. Yeah. And visually there are some unforgettable moments. But a lot of Melancholia to me looked like Annie Leibovitz photo spreads in Vanity Fair.
What it to me it was like we're presented with the idea that the Earth is going to come to an end, but there's always the question that really is that going to happen, and who do you trust? So, who is it? Her brother-in-law, or something? The really rich scientist played by Kiefer Sutherland, who seems to have figured out.
Her dad?
Was that her dad?
Yeah, but no? Kiefer's not.
Yeah, this
Kiefer's her dad, but he's not the scientist who's figuring it out.
He's the guy that owns
I saw it so long ago.
Yeah, we saw it a month ago. He's the guy who owns the company, and he's figured out the trajectory of this.
Oh, right, because he's hoarding supplies. It's not going to happen, but let's get supplies anyway.
So he's telling everybody it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. So do you trust him? Everybody's walking around worried as shit that the world's going to end, and they're having their party.
Mm-hmm.
And life goes on. But he knows something he's not sharing with everyone else. And you can't. And Kiefer Sutherland is the kind of screen presence where you're not totally sure if you can trust him. That's what makes him interesting.
Yeah.
For many years, John, in the 80s and 90s, he was a bad guy.
Oh,
until 24. So my impression of him is he's still Kiefer Sutherland kind of bad guy. Can't totally trust him. And there is that kind of element here. I mean, he's trying to placate everyone.
But don't you think that's luggage you're bringing into the movie and that it's not on the screen?
But people bring luggage with them.
I didn't see. I left my bags at the door for this one. I didn't find any of these characters compelling.
None of them.
At all.
They're not nice people.
No, not even interesting.
Kirsten Dunst.
And naked.
Yeah.
Naked a lot. Which usually doesn't affect my reviews.
John, okay, this reminds me of something that Sarah's going to come down on me. Maybe not. So I got Super 8 in the mail yesterday.
Yes, so did I. Yep.
And we were talking I thought, okay, Steve, we should have I'm talking to myself in my head. Right? We should have a feature on the show where whenever we review a film or talk about a DVD, we should also come up with its porn name. so on the way home from Fenway last night, Sarah and I were trying to come up with the porn name for Super 8.
Yes.
What would be the porn name for Melancholia? I don't know, but for Super 8, we came up with Supermate.
That would work.
Or Super 8 Balls. Super 8 was hard, man. That was a tough one to come up with a porn name for.
So I'd be curious. Melancholia, they're having a screening at the Coolidge Sunday.
Is it
at 10 a.m. and Peter Keogh's gonna talk about it at the screening, and I was tempted.
It's one of those talk cinema things?
Yeah, I was tempted to go just to hear what Peter had to say, but there's no way I was sitting through that 3 hours.
Did he like it?
I don't know. I didn't talk to him about it. And like I said, I barely remember it, and I have no interest in going back to seeing what I can't remember.
It seems like his kind of thing, though.
Yeah, I think critics will be blowing themselves over this. They'll just love it, because it's a very cinematic movie.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's some beautiful pieces of art in it, or cinematic art is there, but the characters, the story,
Art house melancholy.
Yeah. Less, to quote Homer Simpson, less artsy, more fartsy. That's my standard for movies.
Are we good with features?
Yeah.
As far as what's planned, I don't think you want to relive. What was that? Like Crazy.
No. There's no reason for that. In fact, I still have to write my review. I've been putting that off.
Let's get to DVDs, man. Blu-rays. We got some stuff. You know what I watched last night?
No, I wasn't here.
In addition to a little Super 8, I was actually a little disappointed with it.
With Super 8?
No. Super 8 I enjoyed even more.
Right. What were you disappointed in?
In a couple weeks. The video transfer of It's a Wonderful Life, which we it's out on Blu-ray this week. And it's a 2-disc set. You get the black and white version, you get the color version, you get a half-hour documentary hosted by Tom Bosley, which is kind of
from Happy Days.
From Happy Days, yeah. He passed away last year, I think. Big Cub fan, Tom Bosley.
He was the captain when they brought Showboat into town.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, he talks all about the making of It's a Wonderful Life. It's not like this. I like really in-depth filmmaking documentaries. This is more of the
fluff.
Yeah, for the people who don't really watch making of documentaries.
Right.
Anyway,
me.
Yeah,
It's made for me.
John. So I got to watching the movie. Decided I'd watch the black and white, the original first. and the image was shaky. And yeah, it was like the
You sure you weren't
bouncing
crying?
around. I'm sure. I mean, the detail and everything, and it looks great on a 50-inch screen, Blu-ray high def. It's kind of window boxed, which is
The
the
best.
black lines are on the sides,
Right,
top,
right.
but squared off. But the image was bouncing around and it annoyed the shit out of me.
The best way to see this movie is when they play it at the Brattle around Christmas time.
Yeah.
They always bring it back. In fact, and it's one of those movies. It's like a Christmas Story where, come the holidays, it's on every couple days, or it just seems like it is. And it's always been background noise to me. And then I went to see it at the Brattle a few years ago.
I'd love to see this on the
and
big
it's
screen.
beautiful on the big screen. And it's so cheesy, but you fall for it, Zazu's pedals mean something on the big screen, and when you got that communal experience. So I would recommend people check out the Brattle schedule and keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I'm sure the Brattle has it. Before we end this podcast, we'll get to talk about what's playing, coming at the Brattle and the Coolidge. But I thought I'd throw another Christmas movie at you. Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale, which we both kind of trashed.
No, I liked it.
You did?
Yeah.
I
The
forgot
elves?
about that. Yeah, the Santa elves.
I think it didn't live up to my expectations because I thought it was a great premise that they fell short on, but I didn't trash it.
Well, there's two films on this that are sort of like prequels to the actual movie. The second one, I thought was a great film. It just distilled everything that the third, kind of was. It sort of explained. I think that seeing those two short films really helped me understand what the third film. I was kind of like, what the fuck? For a lot of the third film, I did, because they didn't come into like the whole marketing and selling of these elves as Santa until like
the very end.
Yeah, just about the very end. But having known that, if you just if you get this DVD
from Oscilloscope,
right? Those guys kick ass. That you watch the two short films before you see the movie, and that'll help. It'll help put some perspective on the story that I just didn't get.
Cool.
Plus the making of stuff was actually pretty cool.
Is Tom Bosley do it?
Yeah, hosted by Tom Bosley.
Tom Bosley in a bad Swedish accent.
Yes, Santa with blood all over his beard. Man, John, what you got?
Well, I want anyone who knows me or thinks they know me to settle back and realize I'm about to say that I have a French movie to recommend.
Shit.
I know. Merde. It's called The Names of Love, and I am in love with its star, Sarah Forrester.
She must be smoking.
She is, and a lot. She was in. You remember a movie called Perfume, a murder mystery? Dustin Hoffman,
that's the one where Tom Tickwer, the director, got pissed off at me. So fuck that movie.
All right. So anyway, this is a story about she's a young, hot, left-wing French girl who uses her body and her sex to try to change the world. Meaning, she sleeps with right-wing guys until they agree with her political position.
Nice.
So, how French is that, right? And then she falls in love with this guy who is a bird expert. He's like, his job is to go around and autopsy dead birds, see if there's a pan flu.
His job is to go around and have a big ear.
Yeah, look at birds. So they fall in love, but she refuses to give up her political mission. Imagine if you're French and you knew what all the politics was about, it would be a lot more fun. But it's bright and sunny, and she's just adorable.
The Names of Love?
The Names of Love by Michel Leclerc, directed by Michel Leclerc. And she is Sarah Forrester. Highly recommend it.
Sarah Forrester. What else? I recall her name.
I believe me, I've Netflixed everything she's done now. So nothing but Perfume was the only one. I know I was supposed to mention that. So I would definitely look for this, especially if you're like me and think you don't like French movies. So,
man, I got some serious 3D movie viewing in.
Really?
Yes, at like 2 a.m. after getting home from Spooky World at like midnight. I was up watching. Let me tell you something again about the downside of 3D is that it's it's a little painful on the eyes. It requires some aspirin.
Right.
Because you really actually, your eyes are actually working to put the 3D image together. So it's just some extra eye strain, but that's my thing, I just get some aspirin and, whatever. But I watched Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. Most of what I could of the movies in
at 2 in the morning.
Well, the Pixar 3D movies look really good.
Yeah.
I mean, having watched a 2D animation like Beauty and the Beast and crap, I don't know what else I watched. Beauty and Lion King. The 3D. There's something a little more like voluminous about it. It's got more
balloon.
Yeah, it's got a little more baboom with the images. And maybe it's a Pixar thing. I don't know, but it really I recently watched Meet the Robinsons again in 3D, and that's another set of films that come out in a couple of weeks, and that just looked terrific. But
I wonder if
Toy
it's
Story
because
3 looked just amazing. In 3D.
But I wonder if it's because those are computer animated characters,
exactly.
and the others are
it's
more
as
traditional animation.
Well, I don't know. I think like whatever Pixar did to enhance Toy Story 1 and 2, because they were never I don't think they were conceived to be in 3D.
Right.
It was just computer animation at the time, so they've enhanced that somehow, and it works. But Toy Story 3, because I think it was created fundamentally as 3D and released that way in theaters, it just looked amazing.
Yeah.
In theaters. But I haven't watched these yet, all of them. But Disney's also coming out with. So basically, I should reiterate: Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 is now out in 3D, and Cars 2, which is also in 3D. I think we briefly talked about that a week or so ago.
Yeah, I watched it the other day, and I liked it better than I did in theaters.
I hate that. I hate the fact that, like, when we're watching a movie in theaters, and when we see it again on DVD, when does it ever get worse? Have you ever really digged a movie in theaters, then you get the DVD and you're like, fuck this, But then with Super 8, we were like, okay, yeah, it's fun and everything. But I'm watching it the other night with Sarah, and we're watching the train accident, and the kids filmed the movie during that, and we were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Maybe it's a little extra something. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm wondering, does one's opinion ever sour with the DVD release?
I think it might. I can't think of an example. But I can remember seeing movies like the first time I see them and just loving them, and then seeing them again and going, "Why did I love this? What's missing?" Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
So hey, Disney's got some more. They're doing a bunch of these 3D things. They've got Meet the Robinsons, which was really cool in 3D when it came out in theaters. I digged it. It was cool. Watched a good portion of that in 3D. Chicken Little in 3D is also coming out on the 8th. G-Force and Bolt.
G-Force.
Did you dig?
I
didn't. I didn't actually like the movie, but
they're hamsters. It wasn't one of.
It's just edited so fucking quickly.
Yeah, wasn't that a Bruckheimer film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he edited it like it was a Bruckheimer action movie, and it was fucking hamsters.
Yeah, and Nicolas Cage's voice, the affectation he uses for the mole.
Nicolas Cage using affectation for his acting?
He's a mole.
Huh.
Yeah, well, the improvisation that like Tracy Morgan and Penelope Cruz and some of the other like samurai, the animated characters do. It just there's something about it that just doesn't totally flow with the way the characters are animated.
Right.
I can't quite pinpoint.
Whereas you get people like
there.
Tom Hanks and Tim Allen doing Buzz and Buzz and the Cowboy. What's the cowboy's name?
I'm not helping you, John. Now John Black is
the rest of this.
Left
might as well turn this microphone off right now.
Right.
Woody.
Yes.
So those voices always fit the characters.
That,
even Don Rickles is a potato head. It just fits the animation.
Yeah, that's one of the drawbacks of Bolt is the fact that John Travolta does the fucking voice of the dog, and I'm not into it.
Nope.
I'd rather it had been some nondescript.
And I think the hamster in that movie is just so fucking annoying.
Really?
Oh,
Well,
the
it's
thing in the
funny.
ball. No,
I love
that
this.
pulled
that
me
whole,
right out.
That whole scene that establishes Bolt as the super dog.
Right.
You know, and through the city and the explosions and shit. And that. You know, that was
Yeah,
pretty
that's
cool
good.
in
But then
3D.
once they team him up with a fat hamster, I'm just like,
The fat fanboy hamster.
Yeah,
You didn't.
didn't
okay.
get it.
Whatever.
Didn't get it.
No.
So we out of 3D world now.
We are out. We are back into
All right.
2D.
Let's go for total cheese.
Does that say Billy Squire?
It does.
Holy shit.
This is Metropolis as reimagined through Giorgio Moroder's music. Have you seen this?
I think I saw it years ago, but
Yeah.
you know what? Did it not play at the Brattle this past week? I think it did.
I think the one,
Giorgio.
this one?
Are there two Giorgio Moroder versions?
No.
It's Giorgio Moroder's Metropolis.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But the I know I went to a screening of Metropolis not too long ago where they had, special restored footage, the most complete version ever.
yeah.
Blah. It's this movie that won't die.
Look at that, Loverboy.
but this one is
Everybody's working for the weekend. In
not only
Metropolis.
is it colorized or tinted, as they say, but it has Pat Benatar, Billy Squire, John Anderson from Yes, Adam Ant, Bonnie Tyler,
I think is he
Freddie
still in jail?
Mercury, yeah, and Loverboy doing the soundtrack. It just adds a level. It's a level of Velveeta cheese just wrapped over this movie that makes it so much fun. I don't know if it's the DVD release of the year, as they say in the PR campaign, but I've never been a big fan of the movie Metropolis anyway. I think it's okay, but it's more of a something they want you to study in film school and something you want to pay to go see.
So therefore, you're not as interested as you would be.
No, I wasn't until I got this copy, and I was like, "Wow, Freddie Mercury singing for and Billy Squire."
Giorgio
Sure.
Moroder, Academy Award winner for what?
Geez, Midnight Express, maybe.
Really?
I'm sure it wasn't for Flashdance.
Or Cat People, or The Never-Ending Story.
See,
Maybe it was Flashdance.
He's a
Probably
part of
was.
our lives.
Oh.
The sounds of Giorgio Moroder, and it's that '80s synthesizer cheesy sound
And
too.
I think of like Giorgio Moroder. Well, other than the David Bowie collaboration on Cat People, I think of Yamal from The Never-Ending Story. Oh, God.
Oh, that puppet thing?
Yamal from Kajagoogoo.
No, come on. Come on. Just sing a little, Steve.
No.
You got that Yamal voice. Oh,
Yes, 80s,
Jamall, is that how you pronounce it?
Something like that.
Yeah. No, but anyway.
No, not Jamal, Yamal.
Yamal. Anyway, I would recommend, even if you haven't seen Metropolis, or if you have and didn't get it,
Yeah.
this is the gateway drug to this movie.
Man, I got a couple of other things I want to put out there. One of them is that I got a copy of a review copy of the movie Mimic.
Uh-huh.
And naturally, when they sent it to me, I was like, yeah, Mimic. I liked it 15 years ago. When it came out, the mid-'90s, something like that. I thought it was, it was cool. It was cool, human cockroaches in the subways.
Mira Sorvino?
They're trying to save these kids, so they invent, there's this disease, and they invent this sort of cure that ends up deforming the cockroaches in the,
Well, I haven't seen this in a long
sewers.
time. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was an all right film, right?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that this what Miramax has released is a version of this film that no one has seen before. It's just marketed in such a way that you don't even know. It's mimic the director's cut. So you think the director's cut, there's just a couple of
3 minutes of extra footage
there's
tacked
just
on
a
at the
couple
end.
of some tightening, some loosening, adding
Right.
this, adding something like that. There are newly produced featurettes on this Blu-ray, wherein Guillermo del Toro goes through in detail how that he reconstructed this movie the way he wanted to. So you're actually getting a ground up different from the ground up.
Right.
Different film. Actually, from step by step. This is it's his film. Probably, I think he says like 90%, as much as he could do with the existing footage he had, to make it the way he wanted it. Because there was
Right.
an issue when it was released that he wanted the movie to end with this statement that's wherein one of the cockroaches actually talks
Huh.
and says something like, "We know that they're actually in control. Now, these are cockroaches that live in the subway that can approximate, in the shadows, sort of a visage of a human.
Right, right.
And they get better at it. They adapt.
That's what cockroaches do.
Yeah. And Miramax said it was too scary. That ending of the film was too scary. So among a number of these elements, these confrontations happened during the making of Mimic, and he still made a great film. But the extra, what kind of got me was the fact that, like, holy shit, this thing's been sitting on my shelf, and I didn't know that it was a complete redo.
Right.
So I think Miramax needs to sell. Maybe they're not happy on selling the idea of this movie by selling this film, because basically it's a Blu-ray wherein the director is criticizing pretty heavily the people who are distributing it. So maybe in the sale of it, maybe they're not strongly selling it, but this movie is out there. And in one of the interview features that Del Toro does on it, he says, if you want to discuss this, if you have a problem or anything like that, just come talk to me. We'll talk. And I had an interview scheduled with him 2 days later. So I brought it up, the film, and I'll talk about it again at some point
when the ban is lifted.
Yeah, but I think people really need to know that this is a complete redo. It's not just like a director's cut. It is him getting the film back and refashioning it the way he wanted to do it, and it's not just extra features appropriated from the prior DVD release. There's 3 short pieces, 15, 20 minutes, that are newly produced, plus extra behind-the-scenes footage. So, Mimic, now out on Blu-ray, it's worth it.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing it again.
Excellent. Well, this fall there's a movie, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, coming out with Gary Oldman, based on a John le Carré story. Uh-huh. So Acorn Media is releasing the original, which was a BBC miniseries starring Alec Guinness, who was in that movie. What was that movie? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, Lawrence of Arabia.
Right. Exactly.
So,
right, Oliver Twist.
Yeah, he was in all those movies. So anyway, I watched this, and mainly when we think of spy movies, it's James Bond, it's Harry Flint, it's Austin Powers, it's action comedy, that kind of stuff. This is a spy movie where it's basically guys talking to each other in a code that they actually have a glossary of terms inside. So you know what, when they're referring to the circus, what they're talking about and all this. It sounds bad.
There's a glossary.
There's a glossary included.
Printed glossary, or are you getting it on the screen?
It's a printed glossary for you to follow along, because they don't give you any. It's the dialogue isn't written, so they explain what they're talking about. They just talk about it.
Was it like Attack the Block, where they handed you a glossary of London
terms?
Slang?
No. It's but the thing is, it sounds terrible, and I'm listening to myself describe it. I'm making it sound terrible, but it's fascinating that and Alec Guinness is brilliant in it. It's just how there's a traitor amongst the 5 guys in charge of the British Secret Service, and he's the one to find out who the traitor is.
These circuses, they're so clandestine.
Who's the bad guy in the circus? Anyway, it's pretty amazing stuff. And the thing is, they even talk about now it's considered a classic of television, but at the time people were like, "What the fuck is this?" Because it ends abruptly. They'll be talking and driving.
Such was the case with Citizen Kane and It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, it's like, what is this stuff? So anyway, I would check it out. And there's a sequel called Smiley's People that I haven't started working on yet, but I'm having fun with it. Good
John,
stuff.
did you did you get to see Dazed and Confused?
I've never seen that movie.
Seriously?
Yep.
Wow, man! I watched the Criterion just came out with the super fucking awesome.
That's on the cover,
Blu-ray.
Isn't it?
It's
super fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Steve Ed,
well,
post movie.
The making of Dazed and Confused, which is on the disc, pretty much tells you the story of how the distributor dropped it because they just didn't know how to market it. And I'll admit I missed this movie in the early '90s, but the way Criterion has presented it, man, it's just I get fucking pissed. They do such a fucking good job
You hate success.
Man, but so I guess they had a prior release of this. I don't know, but there's new stuff on the disc, and it comes with a poster. It comes with a new poster. There's some really cool box art, that like one piece slides into the other, so the pictures sort of line up through the holes. Plus, you get like a 30-page booklet, essay by Chuck Klosterman. You get like all these fucking actor interviews and deleted scenes and making of stuff. And there are some, kids who appeared in this film that were just so well cast, but they didn't have an acting future after that.
Right.
And so it's interesting to see where where they are now, like 15, 20 years later. And but the movie is such a fucking 70s. It's just right. You know what I mean? I mean, John, you would dig this. I think this was kind of like your zone.
Yeah.
Like if I watch Super 8, I can say to myself, shit, like in 1979, I was 13, 14, the age of these kids.
Right.
On screen. I think this was like 75, 76.
So I'd be the age of...
Yeah.
It's like watching Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You're kind of like, hey, I know those guys.
In a way like that. But you'd be like, you'd be one of the guys at the party in this fucking movie.
Yeah, you see,
and then like people look back at this with like McConaughey and his performance, and it's not, it's all right and it's funny and it's amusing and everything, but I don't know if
I've never had, it's not one of those things I've avoided or just never caught it. Never caught the dazed and confused. And I know there's a lot of people hold it up as a high watermark.
Well, it's a found
of its
film
kind.
in a way.
Yeah,
I guess like video gave it the life that and it's more like did you see this? Did you see this?
That
I guess it's
status.
like Affleck's first film. McConaughey, God, Anthony Rapp, the guy from Rent, Parker Posey, early film for her. Yeah, she's. But and this is kind of it's also sort of an important film in the whole sort of area of filmmaking in Austin, Texas.
And directed by Linklater? Yeah.
So it's it kind of set that standard. So with this and Slacker, it's one of those films that's sort of influential in like what other directors were doing, and it sort of said to them, "Wow, this is possible. I can do this on this budget."
Right.
And so it's just Dazed and Confused is such a really good vibe.
Wasn't it one of the films that inspired Kevin Smith to pick up a camera?
Exactly.
Cool. Here's one I think we've both seen.
Holy shit! I forgot about that one.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. I watched it the other night. That is some crazy shit. The Last Circus.
We were talking about a film called The Last Circus.
Killer clown, man.
Man,
Clowns
sad
and
clown,
machine
happy
guns.
clown. But what a trip!
Yeah, this is a highly original film.
Yeah.
Artistically, visually,
stunning.
Yes,
stunning and gruesome and violent and dark and it takes
masochistic.
Place, oh my God! It takes place in a circus, kind of a low budget circus where.
Is it in Barcelona?
Yeah, it's a Spanish movie, so I think it's in Barcelona. And this guy shows up, kind of a chubby, kind of schlubby guy, who plays a sad clown because as a child he was told he'll never make people laugh, so he's the sad clown.
His dad was a clown, and his dad was killed during the fascist civil.
Yeah, there's a lot of Spanish politics. So he gets a job at the circus, and his job is basically to be abused by the happy clown, who is a violent psychopath.
He abuses everyone.
Yeah.
Even particularly his girlfriend.
Who starts playing...
love-hate relationship with
starts playing around with the sad clown, and that leads to violence of amazing proportion.
And the violence that the characters get away with, because when he throws the fat sad clown on the hammer bell, whatever that thing is, you hit the base of it, and it's the bell.
It's strongman thing at the circus.
He's basically just hammering the guy with the fucking hammer in his stomach, like you couldn't survive it, but he survives.
Well, you couldn't decide. You couldn't survive most of the stuff. The pounding in the face, and then the bad reconstructive surgery that the happy clown goes through.
So I forget the fat clown's name.
Fat clown.
Yeah.
I've got the
what does it say?
Javier.
Javier, yes.
Javier the sad clown and Sergio the happy clown.
He decides that since he's had this flirtation and some really good vibes with the aerial artist girl, that he's going to stand up for her, and he's going to show this other fucking clown what's what. So he attacks and basically mauls the hell out of the guy's face, just like scratches it all up and just totally deforms it.
Almost
and he
killed
survives. He survives. He says to her after this is done, now you're free. Now you can live your life. But, the authorities are right on his heels, and they quickly say to him, before he's caught. Not the authorities, but the people who are also witnessing this say,
right.
He's still alive. So you got to fucking run. Well, you got to run. So he beelines it for the forest, wherein he has his like fairy tale transformation into mega menacing fucked up clown. Well, he founds like what is it like a church in the forest or something like that?
Well, I love the fact that he's this fat naked man running through the woods.
Oh yeah, being chased by a boar.
Yeah, and he ends up like killing he falls into a pit, and then like the next day a giant deer falls or a giant elk or something falls in the pit, and he has to eat that.
It's gruesome yet so artistically done.
Yeah. It's a pretty wild movie.
So to me, the defining moment, the moment that the filmmakers, because I of course have watched the extra features, and I'm not thinking that you did.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
When I like a movie this much, I want to know more about it. So
that the director based the movie basically on the image of a clown with guns, and we're gonna take that that concept image and go from there. So there's the scene in the malt shop in this like 50s. There's two really cool like 50s influenced or 70s influenced. This takes place in 74.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So interior restaurant type scenes. One of them is in the malt shop. The other one is in the Telly Savalas Club, which is like a strip club that pays homage to Telly Savalas. That's great. So the clown, where he first sort of breaks out into the full-fledged crazy clown with machine gun scenes is when he starts firing like crazy in the diner.
Right,
and he sort of has that standoff with the family and the kids, like how far is it going to go? And then, of course, she's still working her strip job over at the Telly Savalas Club. And
you
then,
just like saying that.
And then the menacing clown, the truly menacing clown, is still out there trying to get him. So things kind of come to a head in this giant, in a Batman sort of way.
Yeah.
Like instead of a bell tower, they have like this giant cross, where the climax of the movie takes place, like hundreds of feet in the air on this cross, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just again when it got sent to me from Magnolia, I was like, all right, clowns, it looks pretty gruesome, but I was just so happy with it, so happy. I wanted to share it with people, especially children. So I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm this guy. I'm curious about him. The director, whose name
Alex
I don't remember.
de la Iglesia.
Yeah. I
haven't seen it. He did the Oxford Murders and Day of the Beast, which sounds like something I'd want to see. So search out, look for it.
One more thing, John. Hey, did you get the chance to watch the anime Darker Than Black?
They sent.
We sort of talked about this.
Yeah. Season 2 just came out from Funimation, and I hadn't seen season 1, so they were nice enough to send me season 1, and I'm halfway through that, and I don't have a clue what's going on, but I'm digging it.
And here's the thing. I'm really trying to get into anime, and so I was watching a bit of what was it, Fairy Tales?
Yeah,
Fairy Tales. I was not digging that style, not digging it at all. It was just like it was too bubblegummy, psycho strange for me.
Yeah,
but Darker Than Black, I'm digging. I mean, this is some cool anime. I mean, I'm just like the way this fills a 50-inch flat screen is just, man, it's like watching art.
Yeah.
But I'm having a huge problem trying to understand what's going on with this story. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Other than she's a contractor, and there's this like secret CIA organization in Japan, with these semi sort of untrustworthy government agents that are trying to take down this masked guy. And other than that, and other than the fact that she can conjure this fucking gun that's like powerful enough to take out a tank, that's pretty cool. But I'm
not even that far in. Like I said, I'm still in season 1 where we meet a guy who and I can't even explain what a contractor is yet.
I was trying to explain that last night to Sarah because in the first episode of season 2, there's one of the characters just who's very righteous goes off on like contractors, how can you even live with yourselves? How can you even exist?
Right.
And I'm thinking, what building a house?
Yeah. There's a guy with a tool belt. He must be a contractor.
Yeah.
There's in season 1, there's an episode where the lady police detective is chasing down this guy from the Chinese triad, who all the leaders of the triad gangs are being killed brutally killed, and she's investigating it. It turns out to be a contractor, and each contractor, once he does a job, which is usually kill someone, has to perform a task. Like if you killed me and then your task was to spin around 3 times, you would do that. They're silly tasks, whatever they are.
It's like a video game.
Yeah, I guess.
And periodically, there's like when they're trying to point out characters on screen, there's like little nodes or something that appear over their heads, or their heads go from, like what I think is like really cool animation. All of a sudden, it becomes cartoony.
Yeah,
briefly.
they show a lot of in anime. They show a lot of emotions that way. There'll be like it looks like a red cross almost on the head if they're shocked.
Yeah, I'm going to get into this stuff. I'm going to learn it. I just don't have I can't really contextualize it right.
In season 1, there's a contractor who kills people by he slits his own wrist, flicks his blood on you, and then snaps his fingers and his blood explodes. And it's so cool.
How many episodes?
I'm on episode 11 out of the first 23, and then I've got season 2 to hack through.
There's 23 in the
I think there's
first
23 per season, 23 or 24. That's usually a season of anime.
Wow.
Yeah, and you just
looks cool as shit.
And you just got Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. But there's this other anime that I was watching last month called Ride Back.
Yeah.
Which was looking really cool, and I haven't finished watching that. But I would have to say, it's like, as in terms of appreciating the artistry, Ride Back was really cool. It was sort of like this combination of computer animation and maybe 2D or something like that. It was just
right, and it's got the same kind of art style that Darker Than Black does. It has that same look. There's different, Yeah. But as
it has like a bubbly, primarily colored sort of. It's like watching candy.
Well, you saw that in Fairy Tale. That's candy.
That's a little too much.
Yeah, that's candy with acid in it. But I love that stuff. It just cracks me up.
Maybe I've got the big wall in front of me, thinking like, I don't know if I can deal with that.
Yeah,
but,
that's I watched.
I'm really into the Fade to Black. I'm sorry, Darker Than Black. Announcement. In the spirit of full disclosure, I just fucked up the recording. So we were recording, and my computer ran out of disk space. So after Darker Than Black,
we'll never recapture the magic.
Lost. We'll never get it.
The magic's gone.
The things we had to say about Blue Velvet, gone forever.
Yep.
About getting high off of oxygen and shit.
Gone.
Whatever. But Blue Velvet is out on Blu-ray, or it's coming out on November 8th.
Right.
With over 50 minutes of lost footage and deleted scenes. I feel deleted and depleted.
Yeah,
you find out that your shit has been lost.
Yeah, man. I had a lot to say about it then, but I don't have anything to say about it now.
You were talking about.
I was not.
Oh,
you'll never be able to prove it.
It's like, how do you get the magic back? And people don't even know what the hell we're talking about. Magic. But when you have like a conversation, and
we were on a roll. We've been talking for an hour. There was energy, and now it's gone, and I'm up against the clock because I've got to leave.
Energy
in a few minutes.
But so you were talking. You digged Dean Stockwell in the film.
I should just
Like, what?
say nothing and
You
stare at you.
cannot-
I already said that. I already talked about that.
And why? And I'm trying to get it back. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
You would,
scary.
but the part that I found most intriguing was that somehow this led to a conversation about Mel Brooks,
right?
And his producing of The Elephant Man. How does the blue? David Lynch.
Right.
David Lynch.
I guess Mel Brooks had seen Eraserhead.
Yeah.
And was so impressed that he had a meeting with David Lynch and produced Elephant Man, which had Anne Bancroft in it.
Yeah.
She was one of the patrons of the Elephant Man.
I mean, you know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking like I could be fucking up this recording right now. It could not be like, I don't know.
Boogity.
I guess it's working.
Not working.
Yes,
it's
man.
working. We're not.
But hey, important. You know, instead of just watching shit on TV, you got to get out to the movies and see stuff around here in Boston. So, you know,
That's
get
our
over to
message for
Coolidge.
today, kids.
Yes, and get over to the Brattle, because the Brattle's got Being Elmo, A Puppeteer's Journey, which premiered here, at least locally, at the Independent Film Festival, Boston. It's the Elmo film. It's all about Kevin Clash and how he made it as a puppeteer.
You went to it when he was here. He gave an interview, right? Or he did,
yeah.
He talked after the movie.
Yeah, that's right. And we've got some clips online of Elmo. If you go to post-movie.net, you can find Elmo doing an impersonation of Barry White, which I kind of sound like right now.
You wish. You
And,
wish chicks would like, ooh.
I wish I had that kind of
Steve White.
sexual magnetism. Yeah. Also, and then they're showing all these Muppet movies over at the Brattle, because the Brattle does well with those things.
Talk about your sexual magnetism. Muppet movies.
That'll do.
A great date bait
This is all timed, of course, with Muppets, which is coming out.
Yeah, we're going to see it in a couple weeks. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I think Jason Segel's the right person to do it.
Yeah. I love Amy Adams, man.
Yeah, who
She's
doesn't?
Smoking. Interviewed her for Catch Me If You Can, and that was like her first film. And Spielberg had brought her out to New York to do the press junket, and she was adorable. Oh my god! Oh my god! You know, and she used to work at Hooters, and her dad had a problem with that.
I don't.
You know, but wow.
Remember,
wow. You know, she was in. Go ahead. What?
I just remember falling in love with her in Enchanted.
Yeah.
You know, that was a movie. I remember her from
talent.
Catch Me If You Can, but it was such a small
Well,
bit.
when I think of Catch Me If You Can, oh God, who was Alias chick? Jennifer Garner.
Yes.
And I was like, there's two types of women. There's Amy Adams, who plays this nurse, and she is just like cute as a button, right? And she has this scene with Leonardo DiCaprio where she, you know, gets over on him, pushes herself on him. And then there's this other scene where it's sort of Jennifer Garner is playing like the more domineering sex, like
hooker in a hotel room.
Yeah, it's just two different types of women. You know, Jennifer Garner, you know, beautiful in her own way, but wow, Amy Adams, man.
I've talked to her a few times. She's always been very nice, very engaging to speak with, and cute as a button. So.
I hope she never loses her reality, her super realness. As a person.
I hope she's never doing a tape and the computer shuts down on her and she can't recapture the magic.
You have to do that in movies, man. It's like
this is take 35. I don't feel it anymore.
I filmed a scene long time ago. I was a camera assistant, I was a production assistant on the movie The Music Box.
Right.
And the camera crew ran out of film during a scene that Jessica Lange was filming in the courtroom with Armin Mueller-Stahl, where she has to give this speech or something. She fucking lost it on the set. Just fucking shit, motherfucker. Because the camera ran out of film. You can't capture that magic again. But it has been, that moment was, apparently the journalist from Premiere Magazine was on set that day.
Oh, good.
And captured the explosion. So, for posterity. Also, at the Brattle, is Everyday Sunshine, the story of Fishbone, which we reviewed a couple episodes ago. I digged.
I haven't seen it.
I don't punk thing. Being Elmo actually plays all the way through the end of the month, so you'll have a number of opportunities, John, to get over it.
Now, is it when it plays with a Muppet movie? Is it a double feature? I love double features at the Brattle, so I don't have to pay twice.
I don't know if it's a double. It's playing. It is playing with other Muppets. It's playing with Labyrinth,
right?
Muppet type movies. Also, Muppets Take Manhattan, and the other ones I don't recall. But they're getting.
Do you remember? Do you ever Google Kermit the Frog singing that 9 Inch Nail song?
No.
Oh my god,
I will now.
it's fucking hilarious.
I like the Muppets version of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, but there's one. It's Muppet. He does some really sad 9 Inch Nails song. It's just him on an acoustic guitar talking about overdosing on heroin. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway,
and coming to the Coolidge is Janie Jones. And now we got to remember that girl's name again. Abigail Breslin.
Right.
Starring Abigail Breslin as the daughter of a sort of grunge musician, long-lost daughter of grunge, just played by Alessandra Nivola. And I'm only going by the trailer. That's all I've seen. It seems...
I remember saying it seemed like I'd rather stick needles in my eyes than sit through that. And I think I'm going to stand by that.
Alessandra,
it just looks terrible.
We'll see. He looks like he plays a character that was sort of derivative of what he played in Laurel Canyon, same sort of like alt musician, singer, songwriter.
It just looks too precious for words.
And they've got the Coolidge also has West Side Story playing on November 14th. Yeah. Which coincides with the Blu-ray release. And
have you ever seen West Side Story?
I have seen it on TV, but I'm sure I would not have seen it.
It's
on
a
the big
great
screen.
musical. I mean, I had the album when I was a kid, so I know all the songs, and I just saw it when it was in town. It was a crap, version on stage, but it's a great movie. It's got some really fun, Natalie Wood with her voice dubbed.
I think it's sort of really well. I think it's in some ways. I believe that it, as Robert Wright's film, is ascended to a plateau where to criticize it is almost like
sacrosanct.
Yes, and but some people have, that there are some people out there that God, I wish I could remember that.
How could you not like West Side Story?
It's just like it's really that. I shouldn't have even gone there because I can't remember exactly what they said.
Right.
So fucking forget it.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, hey. Also, coming to the Brattle. That the West Side Story is playing at the Coolidge on the 14th, but the Brattle has the Tobolowsky Files. You're looking at me like what?
No, I'm trying to recall the conversation. Like
Stephen Tobolowsky. Stephen Tobolowsky from Groundhog Day, and he has a podcast that is done by our colleague David Chen, who also does the Slash Filmcast, and he's going to be hosting the Tobolowsky Files live, November 11th to the 13th at the Brattle, where Tobolowsky, he's a storyteller. Mm-hmm. He's an incredibly animated, just emotionally involving stories, and I've listened to a few of them, and he's really good. So I'm curious to see what this is all about. He came to Harvard, I think, a month ago, and did a performance that Dave had blogged about.
Right.
So maybe that this few days at the Brattle sort of stems from that. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Cool.
Live, 13th, the 11th to the 13th at the Brattle. And The Descendants, the George Clooney flick, also opens on the 18th at the Coolidge.
Yeah, that's the
Suburban
Alexander
Clooney.
Payne.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, I don't worship at the House of Pain.
Yeah.
I think he's. And have you ever interviewed him? He
no.
thinks he worships at the House of Pain. He loves his movies.
I think Sideways was overrated.
Yeah, I love Election. I think Election was a great comedy.
Mm.
Yeah,
it has that sort of angry revenge bent to it that
he's
in a way
angry,
Sideways
he's an angry
has to it. But I just to me it just became just mean spirited.
Are those the only movies he's done?
I think so. Yeah, and I dig Virginia Madsen and Sandra Oh and Paul Giamatti in the film, but. I'm not. I kind of don't look. They're selling it as like Alexander Payne's first movie since Sideways. I'm like, so what?
Yeah,
whatever, But that is happening on the 18th at the Coolidge for those who don't think so what. For those who are looking forward to it.
We'll be back discussing this.
We shall. I think we're good.
Yes, we are.
You can listen to all of our episodes online. We're at post-movie.net. John, we got through this.
I know.
We did a re-recording.
Yeah.
And we
Take 5.
Survived. And you can follow us on iTunes and leave a review there. That'd be cool. We haven't recently checked the reviews. I hope
they're all raves.
Going on there.
All raves.
And hey, if you want to take John down a notch, if you want to challenge me in any of my opinions,
that's my job.
Send us an email. We're at contact@post-movie.net, and we're also on Facebook, which has surprised me because we had 553 likes on Facebook, and it's gone down to 551.
So come back.
So I'm like, what the fuck did we do?
Come back, whoever you are. Maybe they just, they're in a tiff over something we said, and that's how they're protesting us.
I don't know how that works, man. I just thought the number went up.
Maybe we should sign up for the Be Naughty section. You can be naughty on the Post Movie Podcast.
Until next time, I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
So long, everybody.